Yo, what's going on, fam? So today we're going to be going through a full mobility session. So we're going to be really focusing on those hips, knees, and ankles to get us ready for the demands of snowboarding. So today I want to focus on the difference between mobility versus flexibility. And the big difference here is going to be our active range of motion in mobility or our passive range of motion in our flexibility. So a lot of people will do stretches and think that's going to really help them when they are doing sports, but that won't really translate properly as it's not going to be their active range of motion. It's just going to be their passive range of motion. So starting off, we're going to get into a forward fold. So we're going to really focus on pushing our hips back and getting into this nice fold, letting our back come all the way around here and putting a soft bend in our knees as we are coming down here. This is going to really help us stretch out our whole posterior chain, so our hamstrings, our glutes, and our back. So once we get into this position, we're going to take a slightly wider than shoulder width stance here. We're going to drop into a deep squat with our heels lifted. Oop. All right, back into our forward fold. Really focusing on getting mobile right through the back and through the posterior chain. I like to do some little wiggles just to really make sure that I'm working on all areas coming through. And then back into our deep squat with those heels lifted. And back up into forward fold. And each time here, you should be noticing that you are able to go a little bit deeper into the stretch. Really lengthen the muscles in the posterior chain. And back down. And back up. Remember to breathe through all the stretches so we can get really deep into the stretch. All right. Now we're going to come to the front of our mat here. We're going to be doing a deep ape. So sitting in this deep lunge, make sure we get those hips nice and open, those knees out and wide. We're going to roll our back forward into a deep ape. Then we're going to put our hands behind us into the crab and do a crab reach. And back down into our deep ape. And back into our crab with the reach. And back into remember to breathe through. Make sure everything opens up. Get a good stretch all the way through that thoracic spine. All right, the next pose we're gonna get into is our puppy dog pose. So we're gonna get to the back of our mat here, stretch out forward, then drop our hips back to really open up that back, open up the lats, and open up our hips. Now we're going to step forward, planting our opposite hand and rotating out. And back down, back into our puppy dog pose. Stepping up, alternate arm. Really letting our hip and our back open up with this. And back down. All right, one more of each side. All right. So next position we're going to get into is we're going to get into all fours. We're going to work on the cat camel. So first we're going to draw our belly button up to our spine, really letting everything roll forward there. And then roll all the way through, letting our back drop in and our pelvis rotate. And back up. And back through. Staying in this position, we're going to be working on our hip mobility as well, getting some hip circles in. So we're going to go backwards 3 times and forwards 3 times. Really making sure that we're trying to keep our spine in a neutral position and just moving through the hip. All right. Do another round of those. Then we're going to get into our next position with our 90-90s. So we'll have both of our legs in 90-degree angles. From here, I'm going to fold into this front leg, allowing our hip to really stretch out there. When we do get back up, we do also want to work on our internal rotation of this back leg. So we're going to bring this ankle as far off the ground as we can. Hold it there and back down. Now we're going to switch over to our other side. Same thing, fold forward, really focusing on stretching out this front hip. And same thing, back up, lifting that back heel off the ground to really work on that internal rotation of our hip there. Switching back again, folding forward, back up with that internal rotation. All right. Last one here. Fold forward. And back up and get that internal rotation. Next position here, we're going to really focus on that ankle mobility. So not as deep of a lunge. We do want to go for that more 90-degree angle set up here. We're going to really push forward over our front knee. So front knee as far past as our toes as we can get to really stretch out that ankle there. And then we're going to bring it back, drop down into a forward fold, stretch out that hamstring. And back in. Really make sure that we're getting as much depth into this front knee as possible, allowing this front ankle to really stretch out, and then dropping back, letting our hamstring stretch out here. We'll do one more, really getting as deep as possible, really feeling it in the ankle here in the front shin, and back out. All right, now we're going to switch to the other side here. Same thing, get set up into 90-90 here in a lunge position, and really focus on driving that front knee as far as you can over your toes. Drop backwards, letting you stretch out those hamstrings. Back in. You might need to shift your foot a little bit further forward as you do come backwards into the hamstring stretch to really make sure that we are trying to keep our low back as straight as possible. So we're stretching out the hamstring, not our back here. And we'll do one more. Get as deep as possible. And back for those hamstrings. Now we're going to take a seat into a straddle position. We're going to rotate over to our one foot, get a nice bend over here, really working on that hamstring, the hips, the low back, trying to get as far as possible over. All right, back up. Remember to twist at the torso and drop down. Second time around, what we're going to do is we're not going to get our chest over. We're going to stay upright, facing forward. We're going to put our same hand down in front of us and reach our opposite hand over. Awesome. Switch to the other side. Really allowing our side body to stretch out here. All right, and back, twisting our torso, folding back over. Should be able to get deeper into this one. If you can, put your hands around your foot, allowing yourself to get a little deeper into the stretch. Back up, twisting at the torso, focusing on folding forward there. Same thing, reaching, allowing your body to really get deep into that stretch. And back up. Same hand to the side down, stretching over with that opposite arm. Coming back down, switching sides. And there we have it. So there's a little full body mobility routine for you that will really help open up your body when you are getting ready for the snowboarding hill and making sure that you are feeling your best with all of your day-to-day activities and as well all of your physical demands. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you all later on. Peace out, much love.